Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Jai Shri Prabhupada. Dandavat Pranam to all of you. Hari Bol to Ramchandra Prabhu, Vishwanath Prabhu, and Akshi Moini for leading the chanting this morning. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Sha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody would like to sing our prayer of the week today? Posted the link in the chat, and yes, hopefully the screen is also being shared. Yes, anybody would like to try? Not yet. Okay, then I'll continue.
I can try for you.
You want to try? All right, Amresh Prabhu. Yes, please go ahead. Yeah.
I'm sorry. How's the tune?
Yuhudoya Sagar
Got it.
Raite Prani.
Tuhudoya Sagara Taraite Prani Tuhudoya Sagara Taraite Prani Namane Toa Sikhaoliani Nama Anekatoa Sikhaoliani Sakala Sakati Dei Name Tohara Sakala Sakati Dei Name Tohara Grahane Rakoli Nahi Kala Vichara Srinama Chintamanito Hari Samana Vishwe Vilaoli Karuna Nidana Toya Doya Aichana Parama Udara Atishoy Mandanatha Bhaga Hamara Nahi Jana Malo Name Anuraga Mora Bhakati Vinoda Chitta Dukhe Vibhora Nahi Jana Malo Name Anuraga Mora Bhakati Vinoda Chitta Dukhe Vibhora Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Would you like to read the translation also, Prabhu?
Sure. O Lord, you are an ocean of mercy. You have brought your innumerable holy names to this world and have taught the chanting of them to the fallen living beings just for their deliverance. You invest all your energies in your own holy name, and for chanting your holy name, you have not established any rules such as consideration of time or place. Your divine holy name, being non-different from you, is like touchstone. You have distributed your holy name throughout the entire creation, and that is the essence of your kindness. Such is your mercy, which is supremely magnanimous. O Lord, but I am extremely unfortunate. My attraction for the holy name has never come about. Therefore, the heart of Bhakti Vinoda is overwhelmed with sadness. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki jai, Shri Shakshashtakam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Amresh Prabhu ki jai. Yes, Prabhu, you want to share any reflections, anything from this prayer that you want to that you liked?
I think on the second line says there is no place, no time. You can chant, you can pray anywhere, any place. There is no stan, kal, patra, that kind of thing. God's name is, any of the God names is so energyful that you pray your Kuldevi to Krishna, it doesn't matter. You just pray and wherever, however, yeah. So there is no restriction, no, it's boundless. Just pray.
Yeah, and we can sing in melodies just like we are singing now with prayers, or we can chant when we are chanting japa softly, or we can also remember the Lord as we are doing remembrance of the Lord, by when we are at our workplace, when we are outside in the marketplace, also we can remember the Lord, and we can continue to chant the holy names even internally. You don't even have to. So it's the three different ways of Vachik, Upamshu, and Manasik. So we can you don't even need any accessories, right? No accessories needed. Everything is there. Krishna has already fit everything. We just need the tongue and the ear to hear. That's it. And we can get liberated from this material disease. So simple. Especially as we think in this world, everybody, so we are so starved on time. We are so starved on doing so many things that we hardly have any time. And we also, speaking for myself, sometimes we don't want to do anything else. Right? We're just so tired at the end of the day with everything that we are doing, that when we just want to sit and relax, right? So Krishna has made it so easy. Even while you're sitting and relaxing, this is the best medicine and best diet, as Krishna says. So just enjoy Krishna Prasadam and chant the holy names, and still, we are increasing our spiritual bank balance. So what better and what best and what topmost way to attain self-realization, right? So that's how the mercy of the Lord is, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, in this day and age, that he has given us this simple process. Okay, thank you so much, Amrish Prabhu, once again for the wonderful recitation of that bhajan. Let's continue. Sorry, somebody else was saying
I want
something.
to add two more things. Yeah, like I just said, like chanting, the morning is good, but as per that line, as Amrish mentioned, right? Anywhere the holy name we can call, we can chant. So it is just a remembrance, like the 9 activities of our devotional service. Like wherever you want, you can remember God. Either anything, like my example is whenever I drive also, sometimes like when I put my car in the cruise and I chant with that small ring device, counting device. So it works. I mean, not all the time, but sometimes it works because nothing to do.
Your hand on the steering wheel, right?
Yeah, that is for sure. Yeah. But we keep focusing on road also. We remember the God. That's what I'm saying. I should be on the road always, definitely, and the hand should be on the steering. But you can remember the Lord.
Yes. Yeah. Krishna has also given us, like we were discussing in the past, even on our fingers. Of course, not while driving. I'm saying while driving, like you said. I mean, yeah, I've also done that. All of us have done that. But yeah, even sometimes if we're not chanting, we can put on bhajans, we can put on kirtan in the car, and we can
Yeah,
continue to
that is
chant
also
along with that, right? So that is also nice. But yeah, we don't even need that finger, that you don't even need that
yeah.
counting device. Krishna has so nicely given us these demarcations on our fingers itself, right? Like we said. So if you think that there are three, every finger has three divisions, right? So just count on those and just go like a circle, and in between you can place Shri Radha Krishna, and around them we can do the whole, like out of on the 4 fingers we have 4 times 3, 12, and in the middle, if you think the middle two demarcations are Radha and Krishna, then there are 10 around them. So that way we can easily count in the multiples of 10 round, 10 Hare Krishna
I
Mahamantras.
started with that, but later on what I did is Srila Prabhupada's 108 round japa chanting is that I just play that, and
Yes.
I stopped that device using. Then that 108 times is already there in that song, so
Yes.
I use that. So that's how.
Nice. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, and thank you. I know you're driving a lot these days, so I can understand, how you're utilizing your time. But yeah, that's very nice practice. Thank you for continuing to chant and remember the Lord.
Yes.
Okay,
Hare
thank you,
Krishna.
Nalan Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Chapter 13 is what we are reading right now. So the theme again is the same what we are just discussing about associating with the Lord through the process of hearing. And then I think this chapter was titled Perfect Knowledge Through Surrender. So again, if we analyze these 2 chapters, the process as we were reading yesterday, Srila Prabhupada was saying that hearing and association are the most important thing, right? So hearing with our ear, associating with a pure Vaishnava, with a pure devotee, with Sri Guru, for example, or with Srila Prabhupada. Here in this case we are associating by reading. So, like we were giving the example yesterday that with the tongue is the originating device, right? From where the mantra we have to chant the mantra on the tongue, through the tongue. But ears are the passageway, are the bridge. And just as Sri Guru is the bridge between us and Krishna. So without the ears, without the hearing process, we cannot go back to God, right? Because our mind is kind of contaminating everything. So we have to bring the mind back to the hearing process. And how nice it is also if we think like, just because the ears are the connecting device between the tongue and the heart. Eventually we have to reach the heart. That is where the Lord is. That is where the soul is. Right? So we have to make sure that the Mahamantra that we are chanting reaches through the passageway of ears to our heart. So only one who can hold our ears or fold our ears is the Sri Guru, right? So this bridge, this passageway is also indication that this belongs to Sri Guru. So when we surrender, Guru will chastise us, and you have to take that chastisement. That is the mode of surrender. And whatever the Guru says, you have to obey and follow. Only with that process of surrender, we are able to associate with Sri Guru in the right mood, and we are able to hear through the ears. And then everything becomes perfect. Okay, let's continue. Here, after Bhagavad Gita 2.11. In this way, Krishna essentially told Arjuna that he was fool number 1 for lamenting for those things for which one should not lament. Arjuna was lamenting for the body, thinking that it was horrible, that his relatives would be killed in war. This was not the proper subject matter for him to be contemplating. The real subject matter for a wise man to contemplate is the salvation of the soul. Therefore, Sri Krishna first explained the distinction between the body and the soul. This Krishna consciousness movement is also concerned with the soul, and therefore we have used the word consciousness, because consciousness belongs to the soul. Consciousness is the symptom of the soul's presence. Because the soul is in the body feels pleasure and pain. When the soul leaves the body can be hacked to pieces, and yet it will not protest. This is because the consciousness is gone. We feel pleasure and pain because consciousness is present, and Krishna advises us that it is this consciousness that is eternal and not the body. We have to purify our consciousness in order to understand that consciousness is eternal. If we can do this, our lives will be successful. At the time of death, our consciousness carries us into another body. There are the mind, the intelligence and the ego, which constitute the subtle body, and there is also the spirit soul, which is even more subtle. We know that we possess a mind, although we cannot see it, nor can we see the intelligence, the ego or the soul. We can only see the gross material body, and when this gross material body ends, we say that everything is finished. In order to understand these things, we have to approach a guru, just as Arjuna approached Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna told Arjuna in very gentlemanly language that he was not a learned man. In essence, he said, "You are not a Pandita. Just try to understand that the real life is the life of the soul." Vedic education means taking care of the soul. Presently, the soul is encaged, embodied, entangled in material affairs. The soul is suffering, and it is to our benefit to rescue him from these material clutches. This is real education. To receive this education, one has to approach a proper guru. The Guru is there, Krishna. The Guru is also there as Kapila, the incarnation of Krishna. Krishna informs us that he is the owner of the body, and he has explained this in many different ways. He has stated that the soul can never be cut into pieces, burned by fire, moistened by water, nor withered by the wind. Matter interacts with matter, but the soul does not belong to the material world. This means that the soul is above material action and reaction. In the material world, even iron and stone can be melted, but the laws of material nature do not apply to the spirit soul. To understand these subjects, we should be careful to approach Krishna's representative. We should not approach a bogus guru who is like a blind man trying to lead other blind men. We must go to the one who has open eyes, to one who has seen the absolute truth. The absolute truth is there, just as the sun is there for everyone to see. The sun does not hide, but a person can try to hide from the sun by closing his door. One must open the door in order to see the sun. Similarly, Krishna is there, God is there, and we have to come to Krishna and take the lessons of Bhagavad Gita to learn who and what God is. Rascals will not do this, but will simply manufacture some philosophy or other. There is actually no difficulty because Krishna's instructions are there and Krishna himself is there. Krishna is so kind that he says, "Alright, if you cannot understand me in this way, just see me in water. Come on, if you do not understand me in that way, just see me in the sunshine." Is this very difficult? There is nothing difficult about it, but we are very obstinate. Maya is also very strong, and as soon as we try to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, Maya will whisper in our ear, No, there are many gods. Why are you accepting Krishna?" However, the Shastras say, "Krishnastu Bhagavan Swayam, Ishvara Parama Krishna." Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. We should take our lessons from the Acharyas and the Shastras. At least in India, there are many great Acharyas. Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, Vishnu Swami, and even Shankaracharya and Guru Nanak. All of these have accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Why then should we reject him? Why should we accept a competitor? We should not simply engage in mental speculation, but should accept Krishna in full consciousness and be happy. This is made possible by the help of the Guru. Therefore, Devahuti is further questioning her son Kapila. Text 29. Yo yogo bhagavad bhano nirvanatmam tvayoditaha kidrasha kati changani yatas tattva bodhanam. Okay. The mystic yoga system, as you have explained, aims at the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is meant for completely ending material existence. Please let me know the nature of that yoga system. How many ways are there by which one can understand in truth that sublime yoga? There are different kinds of mystic yoga systems, aiming for different phases of the absolute truth. The Jnana Yoga system aims at the impersonal Brahman effulgence, and the Hatha Yoga system aims at the localized personal aspect, the Paramatma feature of the absolute truth. Whereas Bhakti Yoga or devotional service, which is executed in 9 different ways, headed by hearing and chanting, aims at complete realization of the Supreme Lord. There are different methods of self-realization, but here Devahuti especially refers to the Bhakti Yoga system, which has already been primarily explained by the Lord. The different processes of the Bhakti Yoga system are hearing, chanting, remembering, offering prayers, worshipping the Lord in the temple, accepting service to Him, carrying out His orders, making friends with Him, and ultimately surrendering everything for His service. The word Nirvanatmam is very significant in this verse. Unless one accepts the process of devotional service, one cannot end the continuation of material existence. As far as Jnanis are concerned, They are interested in Jnana Yoga. But even if one elevates oneself after a great performance of austerity to the Brahman effulgence, there is a chance of falling down again to the material world. Therefore, Jnana Yoga does not actually end material existence. Similarly, regarding the Hatha Yoga system, which aims at the localized aspect of the Lord, Paramatma, it has been experienced that many yogis such as Vishwamitra fell down, but Bhakti yogis, once approaching the spiritual master of Godhead, once approaching the Supreme Personality of Godhead, never come back to this material world, as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita. Yad gatva na nivartante. Upon going, one never comes back. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti. After giving up this body, he never comes back again to accept a material body. Nirvana does not finish the existence of the soul. The soul is ever existing. Therefore, nirvana means to end one's material existence. And to end material existence means to go back home, back to Godhead. Sometimes it is asked how the living entity falls down from the spiritual world to the material world. Here is the answer. Unless one is elevated to the Vaikuntha planets and is directly in touch with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he is prone to fall down, either from the impersonal Brahman realization or from an ecstatic trance of meditation. Another word in this verse, Bhagavad Banaha, is very significant. Banaha means arrow. The Bhakti Yoga system is just like an arrow aiming up to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The Bhakti Yoga system never urges one toward the impersonal Brahman effulgence or to the point of Paramatma realization. This Bana or arrow is so sharp and swift that it goes directly to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, penetrating the regions of impersonal Brahman and localized Paramatma. We must understand the Supreme Person Tattvataha in truth. Generally, people are not interested in knowing about God or the relationship with Him. However, the entire Vedic instruction is for this purpose. First of all, we have to know God. Then we have to know our relationship with God. The next step is acting on the basis of that relationship. Krishna states that out of many millions of people, one may be interested in knowing the purpose of life. Human life is meant for this end, and if one does not come to this understanding, he is no better than an animal. We not only have to understand God and our relationship with Him, but also how to act in that relationship. In this way, we can perfect our lives. When one is a Siddha, one understands himself. That is, one understands, Aham Brahmasmi. I am not this body. This is Brahman realization, the Brahma Bhuta platform. When one attains this stage, he becomes very happy. However, we must progress beyond this and come to the platform of Bhakti Yoga. On that platform, there is variety and Ananda, bliss. As stated previously, we are seeking spiritual variety, and if we do not enter the spiritual world, we will again fall down into the material atmosphere. The varieties of the spiritual world are mentioned in the Brahma Samhita 5.29-30. Chintamani prakarasad mashukalpa vriksha lakshavrateshu surabhirabhipalayantam Lakshmi sahasrashatasam brahmasevyamanam Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami Venum panantamaravindalayatakaksam Barhavatam samasitam buddhasundarangam Kandarpakotikamaniya vishesha shobham Govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, who is adept in playing on his flute, with blooming eyes like lotus petals, with head decked with peacock's feather, with the figure of beauty tinged with the hue of blue clouds, and his unique loveliness charming millions of cupids. We should not consider Krishna's form to be imagined by some artist. He is described in the Vedas as Venum Kvanantam Aravinda Dalayataksham. He plays the flute, and his eyes are like the petals of a lotus flower. He wears the peacock feather, and his complexion is very beautiful, like a dark cloud. He is so beautiful that he attracts many hundreds of thousands of cupids. Kandar Pakoti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham. These are descriptions of Govinda found in the Shastras. In the material world, we are simply chewing the chewed, throwing it away, picking it up and then chewing it again. Spiritual variety is not like this. Spiritual variety is Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam. It is constantly increasing. It is even greater than the ocean because the ocean does not increase. The shores of the ocean are set. There are certain limits. However, the ocean of bliss is constantly increasing. The more we enter into that spiritual bliss, the more we become joyful. The young people in the Hare Krishna movement chant the Hare Krishna mantra all the time. If this mantra were material, how long would they chant it? It is not possible to chant a material name for very long because the chanting would become hackneyed and very tiresome. No one could be satisfied simply by chanting Hare Krishna unless Hare Krishna itself were spiritual. We may chant Mr. John, Mr. John, Mr. John, but after an hour we will get fed up. However, the more we become spiritually advanced, the more bliss we will derive from chanting Hare Krishna. We can experience Ananda perfectly in the association of Krishna. We can associate with Krishna as a servant, a friend, a father, a mother, or a conjugal lover. There are 5 basic rasas: Shanta, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya. In this material world, we experience the same rasas or relationships. We are related to someone as a father, a son, a lover, a beloved, a master, a servant, or whatever. These are perverted reflections of the relationship with Krishna found in the spiritual world. Today in the material world, I may be relishing my love for my son, but tomorrow my son may become maybe my greatest enemy. There is no eternity in this kind of love. Or if my son does not become my enemy, he may die. Today I may love some man or woman, but tomorrow we may break up. All of this is due to the defects of the material world. However, in the spiritual world, these relationships never break up. They simply increase, and this is called perfection. Krishna is very fond of tending Surabhi cows, but the Mayavadis cannot understand this. They say, "What is this Krishna?" Even Lord Brahma was bewildered. He said, "How is it that this Krishna, this boy of Vrindavan, is being worshipped? He is called the Supreme Personality of Godhead. How is that?" Lord Indra was also bewildered. Therefore, if we do not wish to be bewildered, we have to understand Krishna in truth from Krishna himself or his bona fide representative. The activities of Krishna are not ordinary but divine. If we can understand this, we immediately become liberated. We need only understand the pastimes of Krishna with the gopis. These pastimes are not ordinary. In the material world, a young man wants to dance with many young girls, but Krishna's dancing with the gopis is different because people cannot understand Krishna. When they hear about Krishna's dancing with the gopis, they take this as some kind of concession and say, "Now let us dance with young girls." In this way, they go to the hell. Therefore, we have to learn from the proper person about Krishna's activities. We should not immediately try to understand Krishna's dealings with the gopis, for they are very confidential. These dealings are given in the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, and this indicates that we have to understand Krishna as he is by first reading the preceding 9 cantos. When we have understood these 9 cantos, we can go to the 10th. In this way, we can understand that Krishna's activities are not ordinary but divine, and we can immediately become liberated. Okay, we'll pause here for today. Rebol. Yes, so step by step, gradual. This is a gradual process. It is not an overnight process. If we are looking for shortcuts, then this is not the path, as Prabhupada is explaining. Because all the devotees, all the different transcendentalists who are going on the path of Jnana Yoga, then there is Hatha Yoga, the process of mystic realization of Paramatma, and then there is Bhakti Yoga, which is the topmost, right? So we are trying to achieve the topmost, and we cannot just achieve the topmost in one step, right? We cannot just jump. But also the concession is given, Prabhupada says in other places, that this is like using the elevator. We don't have to take step by step. So we don't have to go through Jnana Yoga, Karma Yoga, Hatha Yoga, all this Dhyana Yoga. We don't have to take all these steps. You can directly go to Bhakti Yoga. It's like taking an elevator. But even in Bhakti Yoga, there are different stages from Shraddha to Prema, right? So we have to go step by step. So it's a gradual process. But if we surrender to a pure Vaishnava, to a pure bona fide representative of Krishna, or through Krishna's instructions, by following Bhagavad Gita, the Shastras, Bhagavatam, then we can understand Krishna in truth. And by gradual practice, like Prabhupada is explaining, even though it's a gradual process, it's an ever increasing process. The bliss will keep on increasing as we chant the Mahamantra. Right? At least from our eyes, we have seen all of Prabhupada's disciples who are still here around. They have been doing this for the last 50-60 years, even after Prabhupada departed. And just by following Prabhupada's instructions, just by chanting, just by serving and following the 9 limbs of bhakti, we see so many of them have perfected their lives. Right? So the examples are right there in front of our eyes. It's just a matter. And again, as Prabhupada is saying, there are so many acharyas, not just coming in the line of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but Prabhupada gives the example of everybody, right? Different sampradayas, Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, even Guru Nanak, even Shankaracharya. Everybody has accepted Shri Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And once you have accepted that and you follow the path then success is guaranteed. So we just have to, as we were reading the prayer, as Amresh Prabhu was saying, yes, only thing we need to do is there's no bar of time, place, circumstance, where we are. We just have to chant the holy name. That is the process for this age, and we can perfect our lives. So we have to increase that by chanting, by hearing, and by remembering the Lord. So as we have been doing, last week we were remembering this. Again, this whole thing comes back to hearing, as Prabhupada is saying, hearing, the process of knowledge through surrender, through hearing, through associating with the pure devotees. So last week we were remembering the Lord through the process of hearing the sound vibrations in the nature, through birds, through water, through, and every morning we are able to hear nice birds, chirping. Even in the evening yesterday I was outside in the lawn, and birds were making very beautiful and very melodious, very mellifluous sounds in the nature. So we can remember Krishna when we hear such sounds, beautiful sounds. Actually, in one of the lectures, Prabhupada says he was in Bombay and he was giving the class on this shloka on Bhagavad Gita 7.8, and he says, we are in Bombay, we hear all kinds of sounds here. So any sound you hear in Bombay, you can remember Krishna. So that is Shabda K. So that is that. But yeah, this week, so today is Wednesday, we can now, the last concluding part of that shloka about Rasoham Apsukantaya, Prabhasmi Shashi Suryayo, Pranava Sarva Vedeshu, Shabdake, Paurusham Rishu. So the Paurusham Rishu means ability in man. So ability, whatever we do, even the ability to hold our japa beads and chant, the ability to open and close our eyelids, the ability to breathe. When we go to work, we can remember Krishna before we start our day. Generally, as children, we used to do that. When morning we would wake up, first thing we would do is we'll remember the Lord. We'll fold our hands and we'll remember the Lord, right? So when we are about to go out of the house, we can bow down, we can pray to the Lord, right? So all of this ability that we have to do different activities through our body, through our mind, through our intelligence, all of this ability comes from Sri Krishna. And that is what it means as Paurusham Rishu. So this week we can take this opportunity to remember Krishna through the different abilities, the different skills, the talents, the intelligence that we have. Or if we see not just we, and around us as well, if we see somebody who's doing something very nicely, playing music, for example, or somebody, Prabhupada says, somebody is a big industrialist, big philosopher, big artist, anybody, all of that intelligence, all of that art and skill and talent, we should remember Krishna, that it is coming from Krishna. As Krishna says, this is just a spark of my splendor. So that way we can remember Krishna. So anybody would like to share any other thoughts, reflections from last week, how you remembered Krishna through the sound, or how you're going to remember through the abilities? Open to everybody now. Yes, anybody would like to share anything? We have many devotees on the call today. Yes.
I think I want to
Yes, Sangeeta Mataji.
Last 6 months, I think from the last 6 months or the 7 month, I started my chanting. And I feel one thing that it helps to make our mind cool. It will develop our tolerance power, our patience, and it also helps to it makes our emotionally strong, because sometimes we are more emotionally weak, right? It helps to make the emotionally strong. That भगवान है सब ठीक कर देंगे, even if there are any obstacles or any hurdles come in the life. ऊपर वाला है हमारा ख्याल रखने के लिए, कृष्णा है, तो ये दिमाग में आता है. That's my experience. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Yes. Transcendental sound vibration is the topmost sound
Yes,
vibration.
yes, yes,
Right?
yeah,
So
yeah.
when you are taking shelter of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, then that is the best sound that we can hear always. And when we do that, like you said, when we chant and hear nicely, then like you said, within 6 months you are able to understand and realize this, right? So it's a gradual process, but it's a very sure shot way of attaining purification of our consciousness. And and also you said about holding on to the holy name, right? Like we should, just because it is not working today, we should not give it up. That is again the words of our acharyas, of our shastras, that we have to continue on the path, with enthusiasm, determination, and patience, right? So we should have patience. It's not like overnight we'll expect some magic, but in this world, if at work, if somebody is able to help, we go to them. If they are not able to help, we go to somebody else. If the boss is not able to help, we go to the boss's boss, right? Or we go to a different department. So similarly here in our relationships as well, if mother is not able to help, we go to father. Father is not able to help, we go to brother, right? But like that, we should not deviate. We should stick to Krishna, right? That is the meaning of surrender. When he says surrender, we are fully surrendered to one Lord, right? And with full conviction, full devotion, and patience, we should continue. And then Krishna sees, okay, that's why at the center also we're talking about dog, right? We are Krishna's dog because we have this collarbone around our neck. So once we are a dog of one master, we are fully dedicated. We are fully dedicated to that master. So we should not look around, go here, आज कृष्णा तो नहीं हेल्प कर रहे हैं, चलो मैं दुर्गा मैया के पास चले जाता हूँ. अरे दुर्गा मैया नहीं कर रही, चलो शिव जी के पास चले जाते हैं. अरे शिव जी नहीं हेल्प कर रहे हैं, चलो मैं इनके पास गणेश के पास चले जाते हैं. So our faith should be fixed in one Lord. So wherever we stand, Krishna says, and I make their faith fixed in that particular demigod. So like that. So we have come to Krishna, we should remain loyal to Krishna and just continue on the path by chanting. And then, yes, like you rightly said, 6 months we are able to see so many positive transformation in our consciousness and in our mind. Thank you, Mataji, for sharing that. Okay, anybody else would like to say anything? Any reflections of how you remembered the Lord through sound, or how you're going to remember the Lord through abilities?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Yes.
I was one point which came to my mind for remembering the Lord with sound and ability was when we hear our kids playing mridanga, harmonium, kartal. It is both ability and sound. Kirtan is both ability and sound. I felt that was very beautiful. And another thing, I was hearing a lecture from Bhakti Ashram Maharaj, and he was telling about Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, where he recently, I guess last Ekadashi, they celebrated his Vyas Puja, and Maharaj was reflecting how His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj has served for so many years, and we see him now, in a very challenging situation regarding his health. Maharaj was mentioning that he came into contact with Prabhupada when he was 19 years old, and he took sannyas when he was just 21 years old. In his prime youth he took sannyas, and he has served all these years very, all the achievements he have made. He has 60,000 plus disciples all over the world, and he's still taking disciples, and he's still initiating guru. So he was once asked that why Krishna has taken the ability from him, the physical abilities in many ways. And Maharaj started crying and saying that Krishna has not taken anything. I am just very anxious. How can I increase my service to Krishna despite of all this, what is going on? I don't care about all this, but I just want to serve more and more. So, when we see somebody who's disabled, but it's just another way of seeing, how we are so able and we are so blessed with everything what we have. We have a lot of health problems, but a lot of, things we have is so perfect in terms of what people don't have. So we can just be thankful about that. And Maharaj was saying it will just take 2 seconds and Krishna will, if he wants, he can take the ability to move or walk. So even talk. So it's just remembering that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, devotees of the Lord, everything that's the definition of a pure devotee. That they think that everything comes from the Lord, right? So and they don't take material hardships, as anything different. Even that is mercy of the Lord. And even despite of that, like Prabhupada used to say, don't take away my privilege to struggle for Krishna, right? So even the struggle is mercy. And yeah, that's very, very elevated consciousness. It's easy for me to just speak, but it's all theory for me. But yeah, we see how the consciousness of a pure Vaishnava is, like we said, after somebody who has served Srila Prabhupada so sincerely for 50-60 years, giving up, because everything is easy. Like the other day I was hearing one joke also, and Maharaj was saying, Bhakti Ashram Maharaj was saying that, somebody comes and says, it's at the age of 70, oh, I'm fully surrendered to Krishna, I'm fully surrendered, and then, we may actually laugh at that. What is the point of surrendering now when everything is gone, right? At 70 years, you've fully lived your life, enjoyed, did whatever nonsense we want to do, and then now you're saying surrender. But somebody, like you said here, Jayapataka Maharaj, at the age of prime of his youth, that is the point. Even Giraswami Maharaj, right? We hear that, how that the Vaishya came there, to agitate him, but he was not bewildered, right? Even at the prime of his youth. That is the test. At that age, when your body is so strong and everything, you have all the abilities to do everything. At that age, at that prime of your youth, you give up everything and you surrender and you lead your life sincerely from that time onwards, all the way 50-60 years. That is the true test of character, and how these young disciples of Srila Prabhupada, they led their life. That is kind of a role model for all of us to follow, and even for the next future generations. So yeah, thank you so much for sharing. Okay, anybody else would like to say anything? All right, so I hope everybody can continue to increase your remembrance of the Lord through one or through all or through multiple of these activities, as mentioned by Sri Krishna, by remembering the Lord while as a taste of water, as the sunlight, moonlight, as a sound, as a syllable Om, right? So, and now as ability. So hopefully we can continue to share more reflections through the week. All right, thank you so much for your kind association and beautiful reflections. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnavrinda ki jai, Jagat Prabhupada ki jai, Teachers of Lord Kapila Dev ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari.
Hari Hari.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna everybody.
Prabhu, thank you.